タイヤの夢ってもともとは俺の夢なんだ。
Well, I guess he had to do something after he became a Pokemon master. Following up on the events of last week, the Boonboomger were down on multiple fronts, with Taya not only being in critical condition, but the rest of his team were pretty much split down the middle in terms of their loyalty to supporting Kim and his dream, leading to some of that legit good old drama. And unfortunately, the ISA was on the opposing side, even considering fully seizing their operation, even though they probably wouldn't be able to figure out how to operate most of this stuff.
I'm the government, I'm the government, I'm the reason nothing works.
Yes, I know we've already used that clip, but don't worry, we'll stop using it just as soon as real government stop being run by a bunch of idiots, which should happen just about, Also, it's a little easy to miss, but the opening sequence was again changed, and not for the addition of Gemba, as that actually happened in the last episode, and we just didn't have the time to cover it, but rather, the Hashirama sequence had been noticeably switched, with them looking cheerful and happy to down and depressed. The reason for it would become clear by the end of the episode. But first, in an interesting little twist, Bundorio revealed that Taya's dream was actually his originally. Yeah, as it turned out, he was originally a racer in the BBG, but he was involved in some sort of accident that resulted in his license getting revoked. Which, considering he's like a transformer, I do wonder if he's had some of that good energon.
This stuff's the greatest!
I mean, he certainly acted like most people would after losing their license to a DIY by ignoring that little factoid and going on another far more disastrous bender. As a result, he ended up crashing on Earth where he met Taya, who just so happened to be near the crash site. He took him home and managed to fix up the alien robot because
好きなんだメカは作るのも動かすのも
Taya Hondo, the most based red ever. But yeah, this is the episode that probably felt the most unironically like a classic episode of the Pokemon anime. Not just through the fact that Rika Matsumoto was voicing a shonen protagonist in a red cap, but also the strong sense of camaraderie that was quickly being formed between a human and his new inhuman friend.
約束だ
As a reminder, this show, and this episode specifically, was written by a renowned writer in that franchise, so it shouldn't be that big a surprise. Both Matsumoto and Taya's actor put their all into this rather wholesome scene of the latter agreeing to deliver Bundoyo's dream to its final destination. And in a nice bit of visual storytelling, this story managed to move each of the Boonboomger and Shirabe, as it likely confirmed for them that Taya wasn't just some selfish putz who was doing all of this for his own benefit and glory. Conversely, the Hashirama couldn't act as a proper unit, or at least not with irritable Rex. And yeah, as silly as it was to see these characters in obvious alien costumes bandaging up a remote-controlled car, I honestly did kind of feel bad for them, as their boss was being the worst kind of superior, who wasn't treating them very well at all. It also might be because of the aforementioned alteration to the opening, where they were clearly depressed, which, spoilers, is likely going to carry over into the next few episodes or so. Again, considering this was written by a Pokemon writer, there are some clear parallels to be made. Anyway, Tai woke up the next day to learn that his team had already deployed without him to fight irate Rex. Thus, he tried to rush out in spite of his injuries, though not before Shirabe inquired to what exactly his actual dream was and how it could coincide with fighting evil. In the case of the latter, he claimed it was because it was a necessary path to achieving his dream, and asked for what that was.
それは彼の夢でしょ。あなたの夢じゃない。
俺の夢だ
I know some of the writing in the show is kind of simple, and yet when it's executed this well and with so much emotions, I really can't complain. And this was further reflected when he arrived to join the battle. Not to necessarily save the day, as his teammates were still very much ready to fight, and more importantly, they had a few things to say to him, including how they were going to join him in achieving Bundoyo's dream, whether it be to help discover more about themselves, or out of duty, pride, and of course, friendship. This led to the requisite team coming back together scene that again was very well acted, with even Shabe getting in some good bits. And after they just went through a rather brutal beatdown by the Rex of Madness in spite of using some good teamwork, they thankfully didn't have Taya one-shot him, but instead just made clear that his addition was the last literal push they needed to launch an effective attack against him. This of course then led into the giant fight of the week, though not before some more unfortunate Yarakar misfortune, which does make me question whether or not this trio really does get along or not. But yeah, after hinting at it last week, they of course brought out the newest toy, which led to another form change, Night Mode, which was probably the best looking one so far in my opinion, with that kind of cool helmeted face look on Bundorio, plus a badass side cape that would make Sora jealous. And the resulting fight, while obviously nowhere near as epic as that desperate final push from the last episode, it was at least justified in that they did need to make the new form look strong, and they at least had a cool moment when all the other cars joined in on the fight to finish off Anger Management Rex. Also, I'm not sure, but I think they might have actually set a prop sword on fire for this stock finisher. I don't know, these flames look way too real, especially with how their light reflects off the costume to just be computer generated. If it was real, then serious kudos to the suit actor for being willing to swing that thing around so close to him. With that, the episode ended with everyone celebrating with some more of that frickin' curry, and more importantly, Shabe finally being able to give a CD she had bought for Bundorio, albeit through a courier service that took all the credit. This was a surprisingly wholesome conclusion to this rather dramatic arc for our cranked up team. I mean, not only has the show had some sweet moments here and there, but I even kind of felt for the villains at times, making for another fast-paced but still very satisfying outing. And of course, giving a little more backstory to Bundorio is going to nicely build towards the eventual Grand Prix arc that we all know is coming. I think what I've really been liking about this season so far is how human all of the characters feel. Obviously, not just the meatbags, but also the robot aliens. From the original Hashiran trio, coming off as pretty sympathetic and probably hinting at an eventual face turn for them, to of course our main bot in Bundorio. His backstory did a good job at fleshing him out, like how he might have been far from perfect. I mean, if he got his license revoked, he likely did something pretty bad, like maybe he really was slapped with a DUI. Thus, you really could feel for this obvious costume crying, as Taya agreed to help shoulder his dream, which would eventually be joined in by the rest of their team. I think they realized that while them becoming superheroes was indeed a bit of a byproduct of entering into a space race, that didn't change what they were doing now, and how it was based around a pure and sincere promise between a man and his robot buddy. Now, of course, it is fair to point out how the pace of this show is still rather fast, with Madrex seemingly being defeated, at least for now. But again, as a conclusion to this dramatic little arc, it was satisfying, especially when it was clear it was very much a team effort, and not just one Sentai doing the job for everyone. Thus, overall, while the fights overall were probably shorter and not quite as exciting, they did leave with just the right amount of impact and satisfaction. How well they'll follow up this main plot remains to be seen. Hopefully, as Rex said, he was just the first of more to come. But until then, though, this is another overall good episode, and well done conclusion to this little arc. Bundorio managed to get himself a lot more friends to help him with his dream, which hopefully won't take a ton of seasons to achieve this time. And for those who keep asking, the Wednesday reviews will be returning this week with Doremi Sharp's final episode review. And before anyone asks, yes, Molto is coming next, and also the Max Heart reviews will be returning, starting with a review of their film that came out around the time of the first quarter of the series, so may as well start there. So, look forward to all of that. And until then, though, for now, my friends, and, jeez, what is that old man doing now? Oh, he's banning TikTok. Well, not that big a loss, but still, may as well play that song.
I'm the government, I'm the government, I'm the reason nothing works.